So guys, thanks for joining me one more time, and I have a pleasure to introduce David Whatley. He is the founder of Mi.Shop. And so tell me a little bit about your business. What do you do exactly, guys?
Thanks. Mi.Shop.Local manages the local presence of multi-location brands in Google, Bing, Facebook and Apple Maps and multiple local listing sites and directories. And we work with brands ranging from 10 locations up to literally thousands. We manage the day-to-day information that customers use when they're looking up store information. And it happens to have SEO benefits.
Okay, so you work like, on SEO side, on a brand reputation side, on a brand management side.
What we do is, I call it good housekeeping that happens to have SEO benefits. So fundamentally, you want to ensure that the information that customers use to find information about your store is correct. Where you're located, your address, your phone number.
It's very hard actually to coordinate all those changes. Once you change something, you need to go through tons of websites. And so you help with this, exactly?
Well, we manage that, and there are different means for doing it, and there are some sites are important, some sites aren't. We focus on the primary sites, and through the performance of Google in particular, we will then determine if there are problems, and we'll fix listing sites that maybe are interfering with the performance of that. So we don't just spread information everywhere willy-nilly. We can go to the sites and fix those ones that are interfering with your performance.
Okay, so but the question is, how do you figure out that this or that site is really important?
Well, there are many listing sites.
Definitely.
Right? What we're seeing is a trend towards ones which have more rich and user content that's actually used by customers. So there are a lot of listing sites that absolutely have no value whatsoever. I'm not going to name them here.
Yeah,
but
we're not going to name them, but we are going to whisper them.
They know who they are. And we're seeing many of these sites are now diminishing in value, in the sense that they're not getting direct traffic and they're not having as significant a value in local search performance.
Oh yeah.
But that's not to dismiss the fact that there is a need to have local listing presence, because search engines do cross-reference information, and if there's a compelling weight of information across all these listing sites that says you are at a different address, or have a different phone number, or have a different name, then you might see changes in Google to point to that information. Yeah. So you've really got to take a view as to where there's value and how it's impinging things. So sometimes we will see a change in Google, and we know directly where that's come from because we understand the listing nature, the listing sites within the UK in particular, and we can go and fix that site because we know that's the one that's caused that effect. We don't chase every site for the sake of it. We have a very different portfolio of listings depending on our clients. Every client is different because they all have different sectors. So there's no point in having the same listing sites for restaurants as a retailer, to garages and funeral directors.
Yeah.
Okay? They're all different. And Google in particular recognizes this. And it wants to make
because it's all about content and about words and meaning.
It's about value and relevancy.
Yeah.
So where's the relevancy in a generic site that has
if you are going to list there, definitely. If you're a restaurant and going to list on the generic listings.
So there are a lot of very good restaurants sites, TripAdvisor for example, Yelp in the US, less so in the UK and in Europe.
They do it on purpose?
No.
Oh, that was like they hired someone who just has no idea how to do it?
How to do what, sorry?
I mean, they listed, they found listed themselves on their website.
Well, there's an organic listing process where different sites, distributors, aggregators will spread this information around. Some sites are very good at actually checking and verifying information, and those are core authority sites.
Oh yeah.
And they will distribute to other sites. But those are few. There are a lot of sites that trawl and crawl for information. They'll buy bits of information from other sites, or they rely on users to update that information. And we all know how reliable users are.
Okay.
Not. So you end up getting lots of fragmented and incorrect information in all sorts of places, and we clean that up.
Okay, so if I wanna find a good listing website, I should look at engagement and also at relevancy. What else?
Well, a simple test, and we feel it's one of the most important ones, it's not going to page ranking and page authority and so forth. It's actually saying, does it appear organically as a listing site in local search?
Okay, so you just
if it's not appearing in a local search, then the site itself probably has little value or significance
because people can't find it.
People can't find it and people don't know about it. So if somebody's quoting you listing sites that you've never heard of, why bother?
Okay, so
really, so we take a view as to which sites we're going to actually clean up and which ones will actually matter. There are some core sites which are important, and we will manage those. But increasingly, we're seeing that these listing sites or citation sites are having less relevance, and it's moving more towards customer-generated content in the form of reviews and other kinds of social interactions.
But I'm wondering right now, because you promote physical businesses across actually different listing websites, how do you connect the dots between, like, your job in terms of Google SERPs, in terms of, like, related to those listing websites, and the real, let's say, well, it's not traffic actually, the real users that come there and just, consume their products or services. So how do you do that?
Well, I'm not sure I fully understand the question, so I'll answer it as I think I've understood it. But if what we're seeing is there are primary entry points that users are finding local information. Okay, and let's be clear, it depends on what sector you're in, the type of business you are. We deal with multi-location brands who already have an established brand, and people pretty much know what they're looking for. So they are, in the most part, looking for things. Are you open? Where's the new store that's opened? How do I get there? Finding directions, or actually calling the store to see if there's stock availability, or finding links to stock finders and so forth. So there's a lot of stuff that they can get from, in the first instance, Google My Business, but increasingly we're seeing it with Apple Maps and Bing and Facebook and so forth, location pages. So those are, we call them doorways. They're local search doorways. They're primary entry points to the brand search. And just ensuring that information is correct and helping the customers find you. There are opportunities and ways to leverage that to drive traffic to the website, but you've got to remember the customer journey. If they're looking to visit a store, they're maybe not looking to visit your website. Okay, and if the information is already there, particularly in Google,
you don't need it.
Yeah, that's your shop window. That's the thing.
Yeah, you just need to go straight to a store and just do what you need.
So where it falls down is where that information is not managed, or it's incorrect, or it's confusing, and that's when you get customers calling and
asking.
If they're calling for opening times, is that a value-added thing? No, it's not.
Yeah.
If they're calling for stock, yes, that's good. They've got an intent. But you might be able to find that information through stock finders on your website. So you've got a legitimate reason to pull them through. Okay, so there's a lot of dynamics around and differences between conventional web search and local search. Local search has an intent around where I'm going. I'm not casually searching for things. I'm not casually searching for a plumber. Okay.
It's like very close actually to purchase something or to go somewhere, because you're just in the middle of making a decision. Like, if I'm going to Google restaurants near me, that's like, I want to do this.
Exactly. And if you draw the horrible analogy, but when we used to just refer to the yellow pages for a local business, we didn't sit down with a cup of tea and read the yellow pages and browse it like a magazine.
Oh, what an interesting article on the yellow page.
We went there to look for a specific business because we had a very specific need at that time.
Yeah.
And that's how local search is different.
Yeah.
There is a process around, discovery, and if you're looking at restaurants, for example, and you're going to spend, an hour or two of your life in a place, you want to know that it's nice and there's a nice ambience. So you're going to look for more information. Of course you are. But if it's, I need to pop to...
I need to eat right now, I'm hungry.
I need this shop now. Is it open? Because
Yeah.
the last thing you want to do is turn up and it's closed. That's a lot of what drives retail local search that we're finding in local presence management.
Very cool. You guys do a great job actually, because I always very, very unsatisfied and pleased when I go somewhere and it's closed and on Google it's written that it should be open. I'm like, why?
Whose fault is that? Is it Google's because it's trying to actually get that information, or is it yours, the brand, to make sure that it's correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination, I think. You need to just, constantly check what's going on, and also...
Yeah. And very often companies forget that Google is a search engine, so it's actually constantly trying to find and update information. It doesn't say you're the authority as the brand. It can actually change that information in front of your very eyes if it thinks it should be different. So you've got to manage your primary Google listings, but also Facebook, Bing, and Apple Maps.
Thank you, David. Very interesting conversation. Actually enjoyed it a lot, and you guys do a great job actually, because as a user, I really want to stay updated about all the recent changes that's happening with the shops around me, with the restaurants around me. When I travel, I want to know only the most relevant information.
Of course. Well,
Thank you.
That's what we do.
So that's that's an additional thumbs up for your business.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Tell everybody.
Thank you for being with us.